Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about, as far as I'm concerned, the returns of the kings of sketch comedy. Because, oh my God, you do not even know. I remember watching this when I was younger. Uh, Now, obviously, I was 2 when the show ended, so I wasn't watching it then. But I do remember watching this when I was a kid, for sure. Uh, Not exactly sure how old I would have been, but probably, I'm gonna say probably about maybe a decade after the show came out. I just remember watching it, all the reruns on TV and stuff. Back when Star Choice was a thing, if that's even a thing anymore, I don't think it is. But yeah, so that goes to tell you how, yeah, how old I am. In my 20s, yeah, because I remember when Star Choice was a thing. I don't think it is a company anymore. I think it's just Cogeco and Bell basically now. I don't think Star Choice is even a thing. It might still be. I just don't know if it exists anymore. But anyway, all of them came back for this show, which I was actually kind of extremely surprised about. And I was really excited to see after watching the 6th season of Superstore that obviously Mark McKinney was going to be in something else after that. Because, yeah, I just really, I think he was my favorite in the Kids of the Hall show when I was watching it as a kid, because he was the one that always did that "I'm crushing your head" thing, and he actually had a skit in here with that in it, when they're talking about super drunk, a superhero who just gets drunk and that's his power. Yeah, it was just, a lot of these were funny. Some of them I think I'm gonna have to go back and watch again, because some of the sketches were a miss for me, and some of them were a hit. But I think that's with a sketch comedy, it's going to be like that regardless. Some things you're going to find funny, and some things are just maybe going to go over your head the first time, and some things you just, yeah, sometimes maybe you just don't get it ever after watching it 100 times. I don't know, but I would say this: they definitely went over the pushed the boundaries. That's for sure, on what they could do, and I think they used to do that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the original again now, because I believe it says it's on Amazon Prime as well, with this one, which is good, because I want to go back and watch the original 5 or 6 seasons, I think it was. Because yeah, that would be awesome to see that, to relive that whole show again. Would be awesome, and do a review of it now that they're back and doing it again 30 years later. Seems crazy, but yeah, the show ended in 1995, so I guess maybe they're talking about when it, I suppose maybe when it started, because 20 years would have been 2015, right? So yeah, they're getting close to 30 years, so I guess if it was, maybe they're talking about when the show started in 1989, because I guess then 20 years would have been 2009, and then 30 years would have been 2019. So yeah, I'm not really sure how long they've actually been working on this. I guess maybe they've been working on it for a few years, and then COVID obviously delayed it, and now it's finally coming out now. Maybe they had planned for it to come out in 2020, because that would have made a little bit more sense, if that's when they had been filming the show, I suppose. But anyway, we obviously have, now this is a Canadian show, and I believe with all Canadian, I believe they're all Canadian anyway. I'm not really sure. It doesn't really say much about Dave Foley. Now, Kevin McDonald's been in a bit more stuff. Okay. I'm assuming it's going to say more about Mark McKinney, probably, because he's been in so much other stuff, right? Mark was born a Canadian diplomat. Okay, so I guess he was born in Canada. Wow. Okay, he's traveled. Yeah, he's been around the world. Trinidad, Paris, Washington, D.C. Cool. Interesting. Also, I guess it was canceled in 1994. But I guess they'd already filmed stuff, so I suppose it just kind of leapt over from there. Interesting. And then he was in a whole bunch of movies. And then obviously we know him from the Superstore show. So yeah, we have Dave Foley, Bruce McCullough? I want to say that's how you pronounce his name. Kevin McDonald, Mark McKinney, Scott Thompson, and I think that's the 5 main characters, and then obviously we had some guests along the way, like the little skits that they did, like the friends of the Kids in the Hall skits. Those were funny. I think that we had Pete Davidson, Mark Hamill was one of them. Who else was one of them? There was a lot of guest stars in this show. Sometimes it was actually hard to tell that it was one of them actually playing the role, so that was kind of interesting. Until they actually ended up speaking, and it was like, oh my god, that's one of them. I think one of the funniest skits in the show was definitely the one where he's in the bunker, and it's just playing the same song by Anne. What were the lyrics? I've got a pair. I've got a pair of roller skates, and you got a brand new key. And he's supposed to be like running this underground rock station, and I believe it's post-apocalyptic, and it just keeps playing the same song because he only has one record. Oh my god, and you can just tell like how unhappy he is every time he has to play that song over and over and over again, and then take questions and so on and so forth. It's just, yeah, that was one of the better skits. And then obviously the super drunk skit where Mark McKinney's character is demanding things, or he's going to crush the CN Tower. That was one of the funnier ones too. And they did a lot of the episodes, like a lot of the skits where I guess where they were being, the fax machine one where they were the last 2 ladies to send a fax. That was, I think that was the opening skit, so that one was another good one too. And then they had a bunch of other ones. I think the cliffhanger one at the end was probably one of the funnier ones, and then they rebury them at the end of the show. And the glory hole, the glory hole episode, where he looks through and the one guy's in there in a towel, and he just takes it off and it's another towel. Like, oh yeah, there was a lot of funny skits for sure. And the one where they rob the bank, and they say together that they're looking for 2 fully clothed guys, so nobody's going to be expecting 2 naked guys when they make them get out of the car. And they're both naked, and they make them do a whole bunch of silly things to make sure that they're actually naked and not the perps they're looking for. And then they throw their clothes out the window, and the cops are after their clothes instead of them. So yeah, there was just a bunch of definite funny skits in this show for sure. I don't really know. It's kind of hard to talk about it as a whole because there's just so many different various skits, right? But yeah, if you liked the Kids in the Hall back in the day, I would say this is, or back in the original, I guess, I would say this is pretty much the same. They're just, they're just finally reprising their roles. Some of the skits might be a bit more, maybe kind of trying to, I would say, bring in a newer audience to the show. With some of their comedy, obviously, because I think some of it was kind of maybe a bit raunchier than what I remember from the original show. But I think that kind of is, they're kind of trying to like pander a bit to today's audience, but still with the obviously, if you don't know, you might have to do some history lessons on some of what they're referring to, because some of it is going back in time with like even like styles and certain things that they're talking about. So yeah, But there are jokes in there that obviously some of us are going to get, and some people who are watching the show for the first time might not understand at all. So yeah, kind of cool that they're trying to keep it, keep it fresh, but also have the original taste to the show, I think, that was there before. So yeah, kind of cool. And I gave this new season an 8 out of 10, and I can't wait for them to do another season, because now that things are, I guess, now that we're on the other side of COVID and it's over, I think we can kind of expect things to start going back to the way they were, and hopefully we can get a new season next year, because that would be cool. Maybe even later this year, because it's kind of like one of those things. Sketch comedy probably doesn't take quite as long to film as some of the things, although there are a lot of skits in this show, so yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, definitely, hopefully this wasn't a one-off, and we do get a couple more seasons, because that would be awesome. And yeah, I will definitely be going back and watching the original on Amazon eventually at some point in time. I think I should probably actually write that down to my list of things. After I get everything else done that I have to do, plus all my new stuff. Yeah, so I'm creating a list again now, because yeah, there's just so much to do, and I'm trying to get it all ready for you guys. So yeah, but there are obviously going to be previous videos before this explaining all that, so I don't really have to in this one. But yeah, an 8 out of 10 on this, just because some of it wasn't that funny to me, maybe, or maybe I'm just missing the jokes, I'm not really sure. Probably one of those things you have to go back and watch a few times just to catch it all. But yeah, that's it for this one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.